What are we going to talk about this week? I don't know. We're already on.
Right. Oh, have you pressed the button?
We're live already.
You didn't tell us.
Oh,
I caught you out.
I could have been picking my nose and scratching my bum or anything then.
Well, I nearly didn't turn up, you see, because we were broadcasting last night and I had Not Monday up there, and it's still there, and I thought it wasn't Monday, so I can't be on.
So you were sat at your bench all day today going, la, 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 it's
I've got nothing. Yeah, what are we going to do tonight? Oh, crikey, it's Monday. But, yeah, good evening, everybody. It is actually Monday. It's me, Ted, from eModels, eModels.co.uk. Welcome to our usual.
There's my logo.
Welcome to our usual Monday night shenanigans with me and him. Who's
Ted,
that
did
one?
you just say shenanigans?
He did. I think he said shenanigans.
He's growing up on the internet. He's becoming an internet type
Using
person.
words with more than two syllables and stuff.
I'm learning all the words.
Right, you're getting better. You're getting more meme-worthy as the days go by.
Well, yeah, good. Well, it's me, Ted, and Chris.
Hello. I'm one of them. I don't know which one.
And Fox.
Hello.
It's locked on me. No wonder you can't see anybody. Yeah, that's
that fame's gone to his head. He's not going to stay locked on him all night.
You know how
I'm such a diva. Usually, I usually forget things. I just forgot to take it off and locked on me. So, welcome to Monday night. What we're going to do, usual sort of stuff, chat, things like that. Sure. As usual, you know the routine. Send your questions to Ted at eModels.co.uk. No, it's not, is it? Ted at eModels.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Oh, God, it's going to be one of them nights.
You know what to send the questions.
Geocities.com.
Yeah. Or if you are in the chat, you can type your questions in capitals, bold, or whatever, big letters. Big words, so we can find them. Chris will hopefully keep track of the chat.
If you can type slowly.
Yeah.
Chris is our chat dolly. Like a trolley dolly, but with less trolley and more dolly.
Yeah, so please don't chat too quickly, otherwise it scrolls too fast and we lose it.
Yeah. Don't forget, as always, if you're watching on eModels, if you're watching on eModels.co.uk/live, if you're watching through the website, you want to join in the chat, you could just click on the little YouTube icon at the bottom of the YouTube player, and it will somewhere where Ted's finger is waving wildly around. Other side, Ted. There you go. Down there somewhere. And that will take you to the YouTube page where you can watch it, and that's where the chat is. So we do giveaways to people in the chat. They're fantastic. So, do join in if you want to join in the chat. If you want to make your question unavoidable so we can't possibly miss it, there is always, of course, the super chat option in the YouTube chat, and that is the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. Click on that and your comment will be highlighted with the big blue or gold or pink box that we can't miss.
Yeah, we don't miss anybody's questions deliberately. It's just that we do miss them because they're gold. So,
we're the chat moves really fast, and we're busy doing all the panicking about what the hell to talk about.
Or if sometimes we'll see a question, it'll be there, and we're talking about something totally different.
Yes.
By the time we finish what we're talking about, it's gone. So
that's why we say put your questions in big fat capital letters so we can't miss them.
Put them in bold. Put them in bold if you can.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do now. We've got last week's giveaway to announce the winner of from last week. Yeah.
I have an update, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in chat last week, and I can't remember, said something about my mum wearing motorbike leathers. And when I went downstairs, she says, "I'll have you know, when I was much younger, I learned to ride motorbikes on a Norton, I think it was, with the full leathers." That was in the days of black and white hundreds of years ago. But so. Mum has done them, and I'm like, "You've ridden a motorbike?" She went, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Blimey,
bike a chick."
Yeah, so I learned something about my mum.
It's probably still in your garage.
I did notice in the comments under the video from last week, somebody posted, "What's red and throbs between a postman's legs?" A bantam. Now you've got to be of the right age to know to realise that's the joke in that, but never mind.
I don't.
Never mind. Right. We've already got a question. Rusted custard.
We got in chat tonight anyway. First of all, let's say hello.
Right, let's have a look. Yeah.
Do your rounds, Ted. Do your doctor's rounds.
do the rounds. Sergeant Bones, he was first one in this evening. Good
Yes,
night.
Sergeant Bones, I've had your email. I will be sending this thing out to you shortly. Moving on.
Gross Models, he's in as well, whoever he is.
Nice.
Don't know who he is.
Let anybody in nowadays.
Yeah, anybody gets in here these days. Seymour Bobbingtons, hi all. Tony Black, Lord Barclay III, Mike Hornsey. Mike did ask a question about what's everybody using as strip parts, but the good guys in chat, I've already answered that.
Well, I kind of asked it about half an hour before the chat, which was. I just noticed, before you carry on, Redland08 has just made the terrible mistake of asking nobody to talk about food because he's fasting for an operation first thing tomorrow. That was the worst possible thing you could have done.
There was
everybody going to talk about food,
so it already started.
Yeah. So what we'll talk about later on is 80s food.
Yeah. Crispy fingers, pancakes.
Yeah.
What else we got in Ted?
Right, Tony Black. Yeah, we've got the guys chatting to themselves. Stuart Brenner, Phil Kett, Mike Hord, got Custom Models. John Bennett, Simon D. He's trying to do the eyes on a 1/6 scale figure. Frustration doesn't even begin to describe it. Yeah, 1/6. Yeah, 1/6 scale. Yeah, would need eyes. Some people get hung up about eyes on models. I've been doing the 1/35 scale figures in here. Now, at that sort of scale, you're not really going to be bothered about eyes because if somebody's that far away, they're not small. If you think somebody's that far away, you're not really going to see their eyes. But 1/6, yeah, you're going to see their eyes a bit. So, and as somebody else says further on, who was it? You could get eye decals.
Yes.
Decals. John Bennett.
I was going to say 1/35 scale is probably anything that or smaller, like as in bigger scales, so smaller figures. I just don't bother. Like Warhammer figures, don't bother. If you're doing a wash over the face of a brownie color or something like that, or a shade to darken some areas, it fills in the eye sockets and it kind of looks fine. It's no problem. Yeah, go online. There's lots of people that make decal sheets of eyes of all different scales, either realistic or manga. I've actually got a link in my favorites for that because I'll need it one day. So yeah, eye decals.
Yeah, but yeah, even at that, they're going to be tiny, aren't they? They're going to be
yeah. So no matter what your paint job comes out like, the eyes on your figure will look like it's a Hot Toys figure. So you'll be sweet. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So yeah, certainly anything smaller, 1/35, anything smaller than that. Don't worry about too much about eyes because you're not going to see them anyway. So that's that question answered. Tony Black, Chris Henderson, John Blues, Stijn van Germet.
Stijn van Gemert.
Stijn van Gemert. Yeah, I'll get it right in the end. Stan.
You will.
Adam Clark. There's Red Len talk. Yeah, we won't talk about food at all. We won't mention food at all.
Somebody asked me if I'd eaten all the chocolate because Kenneth sent me some Tim Tams. I'll share those later. I'll count them downstairs.
Yeah, I had very nice homemade hamburgers for tea tonight. Moving on. Phil Lewis.
Lewis. Lewis downstairs. Oh, she was.
John Bias. John Bias. John Bias can't listen with the volume on, so please speak slowly. What we can do, we can write it down and hold it up.
YouTube's got a subtitle thing in it. Does that work on live videos?
It could be quite amusing. Turn on closed captions and see what happens. Tell us what happens if you turn closed captions on. Is it a complete train wreck?
Yeah, it's like Siri, isn't it? Hey Siri, tell me the times of the trains to Manchester. No, I said Manchester. Northwest Modeler, Phil Lewis, and everybody's coming in. Ostrich 9000, Nat Bliss, Matthew Birtles. No. Apologies if I didn't mention you, but everybody's coming in now.
There are many of you.
Dave Barker's there, but he's just going because he's got to work early in the morning. So he just popped in to say hello and then he's gone.
Hello, yeah, I did get a note from Dave Barker's mum to say he wouldn't be in tonight because he's also been. He's got a note from his mum. Says, Dave, why is the rum gone? Will not be coming out to play on Monday night. As his boss says, he has to get up at work at 4 o'clock. And he's also grounded for speaking naughty words. Signed, his mum. So Dave, where's the rum gone? Is on the naughty step.
Sounds official.
Yeah, it does look like it's writing though.
So that means he's in trouble with his mum and Pip and everybody else as well.
Yeah. Right. We've got right. You see, the chat's already gone up.
Yes. That question you were asking earlier, I made a note of it because I'm doing my job. So
okay. What was the question?
I can't remember who asked it. I didn't copy that bit. I'm not that good at my job. What techniques should I use to weather my Bandai 172 Y-wing?
Oh, I've got that one here actually. It's Rusting Customs that asked that. I've got it highlighted on my screen. There
you go.
I'll grab it because Ted's like, I don't know what a Y-wing is.
Yeah, and it's not part of the sweep because somebody asked the question.
Yeah, well, it's not one of those things.
I don't think it's one of the things that's the option, the words that we're not allowed to say.
Yes, I've not mentioned that word yet. No, you see. It's a Bandai, but it's not one of those things.
I've been told that I can join the sweepskate as well, which is quite interesting because I'm sure I can say all the words in the first 5 seconds.
The thing is, only me. You can say the words as much as you want. I can't say them.
Oh, okay. It's just to get you to say certain words. Okay.
But then if you make it, then obviously you're making me say it. See. Yes, if you do know a Star Wars Bandai Y-Wing, if it was a Fine Mods Y-Wing, I could give you some definite ideas. With the Bandai Y-Wing, can't use normal washes. When I did my Fine Mods Y-Wing, I used a wash of Tamiya smoke, thin Tamiya smoke. You can't do that on the Bandai one because their plastic will explode. But I would say you can definitely do some chipping. Now, if you want to do it proper Industrial Light and Magic style chipping, like the proper old school way they used to do it, it's a bit small to do it, but it might work, is you go in with a primer color first of either a dark gray, like Humber will do a rattle can of sea gray, which is quite good for Star Wars undercoat color. Go in with that first, then paint your paint chips on with masking fluid, then go over with your base color and go over, and then when you've got your base color on, like your gray, whatever that gray will be, you can then do some more masking fluid over the base color, but where the yellow stripe on the nose is. A few more dots and little tiny dots of masking fluid. Paint the yellow on the stripe, assuming you're doing like the normal gold leader and not say red jammer or something like that, or blue leader. Paint that chevron on the front, let all that dry, and then you can rub off the masking fluid, and you'll have yellow paint or your chevron paint, in which there'll be stone chips that show the white paint underneath, or whatever your light grey color is. Then you'll have chips in the light grey color that show the dark grey primer underneath, so you've got those double chip effects, which kind of matches a little bit of some of the chipping. It's really subtle on the studio miniatures, that, so don't go to town on it too much. Do really small little chips. In terms of washes, you can't do a Tamiya smoke wash, which is brilliant for Star Wars vehicles. You can't do it on the Bandai one because the plastic won't survive. So what you could do is you can either go the route, because it's got all the little tiny tubes and details, you could go the route of one of the UMP washes, because they're just basically just clay and water. Put that all over it, and then dampen a cotton bud and just rub it off the raised area. So that gives you a wash into the recesses. Or you could do something similar by airbrushing enamel colors, but weathering colors like streaking grime by the Ammo guys, streaking grime or something like that, over it lightly, and then again rubbing it off just with a dry cotton bud. That way you're not getting thinners running around the model into the recesses, which can cause Bandai models to crack. It's not such a big problem on the wiring because it's not one of those things I can't mention. Chris, can you mention it? Because it doesn't help the answer if I don't mention it.
Is it Millennium Falcon? No.
No.
Oh, the other thing.
Yes.
The Transformers, yeah.
No. Yeah. But you could do something like a water-based clay wash, or an airbrushed thin enamel wash. Again, it's just about not using washes that are just thin down paint, so you're sloshing thinner all over it. And then over the top, you can do lots of dry brushing to bring out and make the detail with the base color to make it pop again. You don't have to do a lot on Star Wars vehicles to make them look battered, and most of it was in the chipping. And then when you've done everything, again, go in with, and I recommend streaking grime for this, the ammo streaking grime. Just very lightly airbrush in some patches here and there to get some shade to it. If you go really, really lightly, you can get some nice shading effects. And then if you want any blaster marks, get yourself either some Starship Filth oil paint, not the oil brusher, but the oil paint, or just a dark oil paint, and just very carefully with a very small brush, dry brush on some blaster marks, and then put a few dots of the raw paint in the middle of the blaster mark to have a slightly lumpy effect. And that's how I did blaster marks on my Y-wing. I've actually got a Y-wing in my stash that I must do at some point. I'll probably show all this. So
Trout and Chard says weathering a Y-wing's easy. You climb in, fly repeatedly over the Death Star until sufficiently chipped.
Yeah, they'll blow up anyway. So
you say you can't use a smoke wash or whatever, but could you not get away with that if you've done like a pledge coat or something? Is it still might be a problem, or you might get away with it?
The risk is with anything on Bandai, because Bandai do not bake their polystyrene. Their polystyrene is kind of raw as it comes out of the mold. So the risk is that anything with thinners in it, if it works its way into either a little gap in a piece, or especially where there's a tab that goes into a hole or anything like that, where there's a lot of pressure and stress, if it goes in there, it can weaken the plastic. And if it is a stress job point, it can crack. And if you're making one of those things that isn't a transformer, but I'm not allowed to say what it is, Chris, you're going to have to say it to help people out here.
Oh, no, if it's an unsolicited comment,
that's true. Okay.
Somebody wins a sweepstake.
Okay, so I can say it. Can I say it?
Yeah, I suppose you can say it.
Okay. So if you're making a Gundam, for example, then you've got lots of joints and bits where armor goes on and stuff. If you get thinners in there, you're probably going to get breakage. With the wiring and the Star Wars stuff, nothing's actually physically moving, so you might get away with it. As long as you do really good primer coats and a nice sort of gloss or matte varnish, however you want to go, before you start doing all the weathering. As long as everything's locked in and sealed, you might get away with it because there's no real moving parts, but your mileage may vary. And yeah, so I wouldn't recommend trying it. Just go and try it on, say, the perfect grade Millennium Falcon, because that's 300 quid you might destroy. But with the Y-Wing, give it a try. It might be fine. But if you can avoid doing that, then it's even better. Or there is one other thing you could do. Instead of giving it an overall wash, you could just thin down some oil paints and just try a very careful pin wash into the recesses around all the greebles and details. I think Tony did on his channel. He did a build of it, and he just basically did a pin wash all over it. And if you're careful, you're not slathering it all over the place. You can get the pin wash into the recesses around all the details and do it that way. Say Starship Filter, a similar dark color, nice dark sort of grey-blue color. That would also work. To do it as a pin wash, that's another safe way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was a long answer.
Quite a comprehensive answer.
But it kind of was, how do I do all the weathering on a vehicle? So it's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, we'll be asking questions on that topic later on, just to check if you're listening.
Yes, but that chipping method, if you look on Star Wars vehicles, the tradition is always there's a base color that doesn't really have a lot of chipping. And all the chipping is usually on any colors that go on top of that show the base color underneath. Like the Falcon has like the white base color and then a red panel, and there's chipping on the red panel that shows the right underneath, and sometimes it goes down to a primer coat below that. You don't get a lot of chipping always on the actual base color. That's some chipping, but not much. It's mostly as if they've painted the stripes and panels on, and then that's chipped off. So keep that in mind. If you want to be accurate, you don't have to be. Paint it pink, put Hello Kitty stickers on it. That's the best option.
Slap it on. Right,
no, I'll go sleep now.
Yeah,
if you don't mind it, I'll just try it out for a while.
Have a rest. Right, let's carry on down. There was one or two more questions came in while you were answering them.
I'm not surprised.
Dominic Kenzie says, "Hi guys, Hannah got her bubble, as she calls it, Spitfire. Must be one of the Typhoon.
Oh, the egg planes.
Yeah, one of the egg Spitfires that we showed. Was it last week we showed them? Everything under 15 quid. But you forgot to ask for a sticker when I ordered. Just drop my note. See if I can send you a sticker out. Question: any idea where I could 130 where you could get 135th or close figures or minis for Walking Dead style apocalypse survivors? I said it. I got it right, didn't I?
There is actually.
I think there's a set, isn't there?
There is actually a Walking Dead tabletop game which has, I think, standard. It might be standard 28mm figures. They're not kind of Warhammer slightly deformed. They're kind of more realistic. But have a look online. There was, if I remember rightly, a Walking Dead.
Yeah, I've certainly seen them.
Yeah, but there's a few places that make things like zombie type figures and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, there is actually a Walking Dead game, I think. Oh no, hang on, was it Walking Dead or is it the one with the guy with the chainsaw hand, the Evil Dead? It's one of those. It's all zombies.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen them on eModels website, but then again, I've not looked for that sort of thing. They might be there. Have a look there first. I don't know what you put in the search. Try Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Let's see what comes up.
Or just get some normal 1/35th civilian figures and get a Dremel out.
Yeah, just cut the heads off.
Yeah, that's evil, isn't it?
Yeah, have
Raging Bases says, Fox, there's both. So there's obviously board games for all sorts of things. Board games that we're making a big comeback at the moment. There's lots of different figures and things in those.
Yeah, there may not be any like mainstream tabletop games, although there's a mainstream Fallout 4 game. Brilliant. Need to get some of those figures. But there'll be lots of like third-party companies and small run manufacturers that make either resin or plastic figures, usually resin figures of that kind of figure.
Yeah, they're out there. You'll find them. Just going down the chat, Robert Blacklock says we need an eModels cookbook. That could be an idea, couldn't it? Yeah.
My contribution will be anything you can put in a pan and warm up or microwave.
Yeah. Favourite recipes from the eModels watchers. eModels chat to you. Yeah. Easy retro food.
Retro food.
Yeah.
Trump Chard says Fox has used all his word allocation for the evening in that answer. Yeah, I've got to show him now.
Right, yeah. Egypt Jan Worf.
Hang on, let me find him. Where is he? You can't call something Egypt. That's not how it works.
Elgit.
I can't find it now.
Right, just
I think that was like a long way away.
I think he always just says call him Jan. So I can pronounce that, I just can't find the comment.
Yeah. Take Dutch lessons makes pronouncing Dutch names much more easy. Yeah, probably will. Scale Hanger, hi guys. Phil, I think Modern Armies makes says Phil, he thinks Modern Armies in miniature makes a bunch of zombie stuff. That's maybe where I've seen them. I've certainly seen something about them.
There's loads actually.
Paul Stewart says, question for Chris. Got any tips for scratch building a seagull?
Just before you do that one, Tony Black says eModels do have zombie figures in stock with their 1/72 and 1/56 scales. Zombies in the search. Sorry, carry on.
Scratch building seagulls.
What do you need for your tugs?
Maybe, yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, you need to make sure that they're high enough so they don't hit you in the coconut. I think it's Paul getting at, but not sure. No.
It's what I think about.
I don't scratch build much, so you know.
Well, you could 3D print them now.
Yep, yeah. I've 3D printed some little tie-off guy. You know what they're called? The things you tie the boat up to.
Well, Chris, if you can print me, and I was about to actually pick it up and give it to you, but it's actually a grain of rice. A little tiny Delta Flyer this big.
Yep.
I think you can print off a seagull.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to pick it up and put it on camera, but I've just discovered it's actually a grain of rice.
Bollards.
Colin's in. Hey, Colin.
I think Ted's broken. He's swearing at us. What?
No, bollards. That's what you printed.
Oh, right, sorry, I misheard you.
Yeah. Right, yeah, just going down the chat. The chat has
it's exploded.
Yeah, it's exploded.
Pastor 67's workshop, Colin says, question for Fox, happy hat time soon. Yes. He's going to source me a sweet hat.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to give me a selection of hats that I can look through and go, wow, I need all of those. And then remember that fur felt hats aren't cheap, so I'll get one. And hope it fits.
Right, yeah, this one, I have seen it myself. It's a question for Phillies that's in the chat. Philly's question, what is AK washable agent? I've seen it on eModels. I'm just not sure what it does. I haven't actually used it myself. I've seen it. I really don't know what it does either, really.
I've not actually heard of it, I'll be honest, and say I don't actually know what it is at all.
No. So if any of you guys in the chat know what the wash actually does, I know that sometimes the AK is a little bit difficult to find how to use the stuff.
Same with Mig. Mig's the same, although he's got better in recent years. AK and Mig have always been a nightmare because they give you these products and never actually say how to use them.
And they're just a little bit different to everything else that's available. So, yeah.
I think it took Mig about a year and a half, 2 years to put out a video saying how to actually apply ammo by Mig paint so they don't come out looking terrible.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, oh, right. So they're not actually terrible. They just have to be put on a certain way. Right.
Seymour Bobbingtons is asking, Fox, is that a small bird in your beard?
No, it's a squirrel. Or some kind of small mammal. Alan says, model armies in miniature do 1/35th scale zombie set.
Yep, there we go then.
John Bennett says, Ted, have you got any spare decals? I think this might be an ongoing conversation that Smoo and the rest of the gang from Smoo's Dungeon have been having in the last few days.
No, I don't know. I don't know what he's on about there, Joe.
Smooth did ask how many sheets of decals has he got in his hand. I'm going to guess the answer's 3.
I think
I don't know what the joke is. I just kind of came into it the other night halfway through, and I'm like, okay.
We do with 3 SES. No, you lost me there, Colin. John. Right. Brief how to brief how to for MIG products. 90% are in the yearly catalogue. All right.
Yes, when they first came out, though, they weren't. They was really hard to find out how to use their stuff. But they've changed now. They actually do a lot of videos and stuff like that, so it's quite good. But originally it was like, okay, how do I use your chipping fluid? Nowhere to find out in the early days. Gary Jessup says, why on eModels don't you list the paints required for each kit? Because kit manufacturers don't always tell you the paints required for each kit.
Yeah, it's not really a thing I don't think eModels could do. They have thousands, hundreds of thousands of kits.
Yes.
99%
of kits don't give painting instructions or indications anywhere on the outer box.
Yeah.
And they can't go into every box and look at what the paints are. And at the end of the day, it's kind of subjective anyway, because not every kit tells you what paints to use.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice if they did that.
Well, they'd have to do it for the different paint manufacturers as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you'd have 4 sides of the box filled up with different codes.
Yeah, you do get like certain manufacturers, like Bandai kits will often list Mr. Hobby or Tamiya colours. Tamiya kits will obviously list Tamiya colours, strangely enough. Funny that. Airfix kits, they still list Humbrol colours in the vain hope that somebody wants to buy some Humbrol paints.
Well, so don't know.
Yeah, I mean, most manufacturers will give you rough ideas. Revell kits obviously list their paints. It's just not something you can do.
No. Yeah, and as well, the same as the submarine I'm doing is it tells you the colours that you'll need to do the job to paint the submarine as Trumpeter wants you to paint it, but then you'll find as you go through the build, it's not actually the right colours. So you could buy yourself your kit and all your paints, then get home, do a bit of research and find, well, I've got all the wrong colours here. So that's it. You can buy kits for them. One of the things I'm using for the submarine is, I'll move that now, you know where I am. One of the kits I'm using for the submarine is live colour. I'll show you the submarine. I'll show you that later on.
Yeah. It's like Warhammer kits. If you look at Warhammer kit, it has the colours on the back of the box. It has some of the colours on the back of the box. If you actually want to paint it the Warhammer way, you need a lot more colours. But at the end of the day, most people have their preferred paint brand. So if eModels were to do that, they'd have to say, here's a model, you need 47 different paints, and we've taken the time out to research what the paints are. And here's the 47 colours. But then what if they don't want, if that person doesn't have, say, Tamiya paints, you'd have to then find out what those colours would be equivalent to in Vallejo or Citadel or Mr. Hobby. It's just not something a retailer can do, unfortunately.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Andy Butcher says, washable agent is supposed to turn any water-based acrylic into a washable paint that can be removed with water. Now he said that, I do remember it.
Yeah.
It sounds exactly right as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Washable paint, and you can get rid of it with water. So yeah.
Yeah. It's probably like it's probably a bit like liquid hairspray. Because if you think about logically, when you do a hairspray chipping, you just put down a layer of water-soluble medium and then the paint, and then when the water soaks through the paint, it takes the water-soluble medium, the varnish, the hairspray away. So it's probably some kind of liquid version of that. When it breaks down, but when it gets touched by water, it breaks down, you can remove it, and it takes the paint with it. It's quite a good idea, actually.
Oh, yeah, Andrew Shield says, what about a cookbook for different camouflages and colours? Well, I think there's lots of them about. They make weathering books and everything else. There are already lots of different books out there for camouflages with colours and mixing your own, things like that.
Yeah. It's actually, if you were to, I mean, like Ted says, though, the number of kits that eModels actually have, or any retailer has in stock, and the number of different paints out there, it's something that you'd have to employ a team many, many weeks to do, and it's not something that anyone can do. There's so many resources available from manufacturers and groups and forums anyway.
Yeah, because you would buy an Airfix kit, and then you would have to research all the Humbrol colours. But then somebody will come in and say, well, I don't want Humbrol colours. I prefer MIG paints. So somebody would have to then convert everything, and it's not always easy.
Yeah,
So,
it's not anything that benefits the retailer.
If you're actually in a retail store looking at it, you'd probably have to go home and check to see what paint you got anyway.
Yeah.
And then you still have to. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Question that's come through on the emails. Emails, ted@emodels.co.uk.
Yes, if you're not able to get into the chat, so if you're watching on eModels or anywhere else on a tablet device type device or a telephonic device of some sort, I always tend to say iPad or iPhone, but that's kind of really Apple centric. A tablet or telephonic device or something that doesn't have chat like you're on your Xbox or your PS4 or something, then you can email Ted the question as well.
Yeah. Right. I've lost it. I've pressed the button. I've lost it.
Ted likes it when you mail him.
Have it of buying the same colour paint twice.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I did that. I got a load of paints for this build, and then I ordered some more from eModels and got the same colours. I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. One thing about doing is when you go out to buy your paint, buy all the paints you need and buy one more.
Yeah.
One that you think you might need, and if you don't need it, you've always got it on the shelf. That way you soon build up your paint stock. Right, we'll do this one until I can find the one we've really got to read out.
Yes.
This is from Michael Brown. Hi Ted, question for tonight. My airbrush is making a we're back to noises again, aren't we?
What is this? Channel 9.
I tell you what we did it last night. Who can tell me what airplane this is? There you go.
Yeah, people in chat, what plane is that?
Yeah, the people that didn't watch last night.
Yeah, if you watched last night, don't answer. If it works in this group of chat as well. What plane is that?
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on. Anyway, his airbrush is making it. There you go. It's adds to A10. See, I told you.
Everybody says A10. Yeah. Yeah. You should have made that a question. You should have saved it as a question for later on, Ted.
We'll do. Yeah, I might do it again.
Everybody knows that.
I might do another airplane later on. Yeah. Question for tonight: his airbrush is making a. No, it's not.
No, that's an A10.
It's making a foot noise.
40mm cannon on the head of his airbrush. Neighbours must hate him.
It's only just started doing it. It's nice and clean. He thinks it's the same paint, same pressure that he's always used. It still seems to spray okay, but it's making a noise. Any ideas?
I'm assuming he means it's kind of spraying like that as well.
That's a better noise than I could do.
Yeah, I eat airbrushes for breakfast. I can answer from some experience that I've got an Equata. Wow, I'm just making up brands now. Equata Revolution. My Neo is a 0.35 nozzle, and I got the 0.5 nozzle and head unit for it, so I can use it as a 0.5. And I found that when I put the 0.5 on there, it goes. I don't know why. No matter how much I do the pressure, it just goes when it tries to spray. It could be something to do with the brush, but it's most likely going to be something with the compressor.
Yeah.
If it's a compressor without a tank, your compressor might be a bit ropey.
Yeah.
The reason that you get tubes on your airbrush, if I can get it out, stuck that are long and corded like that, is because if you've not got a tank on your compressor, this cord actually acts like an air tank. So the longer cable you have, the more air it can build up, and then you get a steady flow of air. If you're getting like a put effect, it sometimes means that you're just literally getting air directly from the compressor. The compressor's going putting out the air. So if you've not got a tank on your compressor, it could be an issue with your compressor.
Yeah.
Or it could be that you just need to whack the pressure up massively.
Yeah. So sometimes just blowing a compressor through, just whacking the pressure up to full, blowing some pressure through it, and then turning it back down. Sometimes that'll solve the problem.
Yeah. Make sure as well, I think somebody mentioned water in the pipe. Make sure if you've got a moisture trap that you vent it like a trumpet button on the spit button on the trumpet. Just, press that and get the air going through to make sure there's not water in the tube somewhere. If you've not got a water trap or a moisture trap, it could well be water in your air feed tube.
Yeah, Michael Brown said, yeah, he's in chat with us. He has got a tank on the compressor, and it's not too old. Start from the beginning, go right back, take everything apart. Well, not too much apart, take the pipes off, things like that. But as you said, you might have answered your question yourself. You think it's clean. Yeah, you'd think your airbrush is clean when you've stripped it down and clean it, and then it's not when you put it back together. Just the tiniest particle can sometimes cause problems. So once you've stripped it down, clean it. Once you've got that sort of discounted, go back and have a look at your compressor, or start at the other end, look at your compression and work up to your airbrush.
I mean, if you have access to a different airbrush, like if one of your friends or colleagues or whatever has got a different airbrush, and you can pop that airbrush on and it suddenly works fine, then you know it's your airbrush. If it's still doing it on a different airbrush, it tells you it's the compressor or the hose. So you can if you've got access to other airbrush, you can very quickly narrow it down that way.
Check all your joints tight as well.
There we go, like that one.
Yeah, when you're moving your airbrush, that sometimes the joint can open and close and release pressure on that, so you're not getting the same pressure through your brush. Yeah. Basically,
what I do is whenever I get a problem with my airbrush, I just kind of buy a new airbrush and compressor, because it confuses me out of panic and go, oh, I'll just get a new compressor. So don't take my advice. I bent my needle. I'll just buy a new airbrush.
Yep. Right. More questions from the chat while I try and find this one that I've just lost.
I haven't seen any. They're just talking about saying the paint might be too thick. Or
yeah, Sean Johnson said he's watching us. He's building his trick.
Yeah, it does depend. Yes, it does depend on what paint you're putting through, what pressure. Most acrylic paints, if it's an acrylic paint, most acrylic paints are going to be between 15 and 20, maybe 25 psi. So try putting the pressure up a bit. Make sure it's not just your pressure valve that's a bit knackered, because that might say 25 psi and it might be putting through 5. So make sure you're thinning your paints properly. They need to be the thickness and consistency of skimmed milk. Yeah, and strip it down and clean it.
Robert Geary says he had that problem with his Neo, and it was a faulty seal because they're solvent resistant, not solvent safe. And enamel paint cleaner killed the seals.
Yeah, could be that as well. That's why, again, if you've got access to a different airbrush, pop a different brush on there just to check it out, if you can. And quick, give us some questions in chat while Ted's trying to find it.
Yeah, I can't find it. I can remember what it was, though. I just can't remember who it was.
Is your phone charged up tonight, Ted?
The phone's charged up. It's all plugged in. I think I've deleted the question. But never mind. His question was, as basically remember it, was he's got the Life Colour paint sets, flesh tones, the one I've got.
Ted knows all about flesh tones. Done much research, haven't you?
Yeah, and he's asking how do they use them properly? Because he says the paint in it is actually quite thin, which yes, it is. It's a high pigment paint. It's excellent, actually. The secret with applying these is to use them very thin, if not thin them again. And to do that, I usually use a wet palette. And start off with the darkest shade of paint. I've got a figure that I've prepped. This one is a head. It's a head of Sterling, the SAS Commander. You can't see it because of the darkness. I always prime my figures in black first, black primer. Gives a good base to start with. And then I'll give them a wash from this kit. I'll give them a wash in, as it says, flesh shadow. I actually think they work in the wrong way around, because it calls these the bases and these the shadows. Yeah, which is probably right, but I'll use them. Start off with the dark colour and then build it up from that. Wash your paint on first. Get it really, really, really thin and wash it on. It'll look horrible. Let it go on and then let it dry. And it'll get into all the recesses and cracks. And it works better if you've actually got a good sculpt, a good figure, that the muscles in the face and the cheeks and they're on the arms and everything like that. And it works better. This will get into all the crevices. Provide
crevices, Ted.
Yeah, sorry?
You said crevices.
Did I say crevices?
Family friendly show, remember?
Yeah, all the creases. Yeah. Yeah, I've lost my track now. You put me off. Yeah, put that one on and then let that set. really let it set off, and then find the middle color, one that you like. It gives you a number of color options in here. Choose a middle range one and give that a wash, still letting the first coat show through from what you've done, and build it up from there. And if I find my wet palette, it's really an advantage if you can use your wet palette and blend in here. And you can see, if we get the top off, you can see in that the colours, how I've been blending. You can put two colours together, a dark and a light, and then drag them across each other, and you'll get 3, 4, maybe even more different shades. And you can just pick up from there and then paint it in. It's really difficult to explain on a live stream like this without actually doing a full video of figure painting. But it's then a matter of picking up the highlights. I don't know if you can see on the camera the highlights, and the light from above is picking up the highlights under my eyes and on the bridge of the nose and around the eyebrows, and it's working from there. And see under here, under the moustache, how it goes darker. And it's like working like that. And it's just a matter of really a bit of practice. It is quite easy, but get yourself a wet palette, work from there, thin your paints, and then thin them again, and work in washes. And
if it helps, what Ted's saying about thinning the paints, it's called painting with glazes in the miniature painting world. So do go onto YouTube and look up how to do glazes for miniature painting, because you'll find a lot of times they do that technique, the flesh colors, and they use very, very thin paints to slowly build up a color. They use it to grade between two colors, but it also works well for flesh and stuff like that. I'll be painting the figures on my Airman 90 build. I won't be doing that kind of complex technique that Ted's described, because the techniques Ted's describing is brilliant, but I haven't got the patience to do it. So I've only got little Warhammer figures, so I'll be doing a simpler technique. But yeah, look up painting with glazes. It's basically what Ted is saying. Paint with very thin paint.
I've found I've quite got into figure painting. I'm not brilliant at it, but there's the little guy there. Now, as I said before, if you've got a good sculpt on a figure, it helps, because the definition of the muscles and the skin and everything like that is already there to work to. These are master box figures out of the Tamiya Long Range Desert Group. But yeah, you'll find it's got all his cheekbones and everything, and the muscles on his legs, and it's really easy to work with, because you can then highlight the raised parts and shadow the deep parts.
Simon D said that was his question about flesh. Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, as I say, it's a little bit difficult to explain rather than try to show it on a how-to video, but that's the basics of it.
It's quite difficult as well, because there are like a billion different ways that people actually paint figures as well.
It's a little bit like going back to the last question on airbrushing. If you watch loads and loads of videos on airbrushing, you'll just blow your mind and confuse yourself, and you'll be back to where you started. It's about picking a technique that you like and working with that one and building up on that, rather than seeing lots of different ways. If you go on YouTube and look at figure painting, you just confuse yourself.
Yeah.
Robert Blaylock says it's time for a Professor Skipperton how to on painting figures.
Yeah. I tried to do these Professor McSkippertons in 10 minutes. I don't think I could do painted figures in 10 minutes.
It's not something you could do in 10 minutes. Somebody did ask, and I apologise because I can't see who it was, because the comments have moved. Do I have any problem? I have a problem with my moustache getting right into my. It's getting to the length now, it goes into my mouth, and it annoys me. I need to drink loads of coffee, so it'll do that. If I have any problem spraying primer through my Neo, I'm stuck again. It's a 0.35 nozzle. No, I could spray the UMP primer through this absolutely fine. I put the pressure up to about 25 psi, higher than normal. I don't thin it. And the only thing I find is, because it's quite a thick paint, I do have to kind of wipe off the needle every 10 or 15 minutes. But other than that, it's absolutely fine. It does go great through a 0.4 nozzle or a 0.5 nozzle. But if you've got a 0.35, you can still spray it through that. You just have to keep cleaning off the needle every 10 or 15 minutes, because it does dry out on the tip a little bit. But no, it sprays fine. You don't need to thin it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're up to. Time is up. What time is it? Oh, we're going to 3/4 already. Right. Yeah. Any more questions from you guys out there in the chat while I try to find the questions that I do have on my phone? I know they were there.
Yep. Mike Mountain, I don't know what the conversation was in the chat, but Mike Mountain mentions about using a hairdryer on occasion to speed things up. To which Paul Stewart says, "What's a hairdryer?" Because he's smart. Alan says he can't use a hairdryer on the paints he used. I've lost the comment now because they go orange peely.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. You can use a hairdryer on some paints. Water-based acrylics are fine, apart from ammo. Again, they're just like the old cheap of the family. Water-based acrylics are fine. You can hairdryer those. I even hairdryer enamels and oils when it's like a filter or a pin wash. I don't do it when it's an actual paint coat because they don't work that way. But if it's a filter, but yes, there are some paints, lacquers, and things like that you probably won't get the best results hair drying them because they will lack it. And also, don't hair dry decals because they also go crinkly as well.
And blow away.
Yeah,
yes.
If you're talking about going back to figure painting, yeah, sometimes you can hair dry figures as you paint them because you've only worked, especially if you're doing faces and hands and legs. If you're only doing a small area, you can usually get away with hair drying them, speeds things up a bit.
And if you're using very thin glazes anyway, then typically you can paint it on and they dry in a matter of minutes anyway. So, but if you're using water-based acrylics, absolutely you can use a hairdryer, just not ammo ones because they don't respond quite as well.
Tony Black says, don't use a too powerful hairdryer, or don't use a hairdryer when your bench is full of bits.
Yeah, don't point the hairdryer at the floor, not at the bench. I've done that. I tend to find if you keep the hairdryer like that far away and just keep it moving all the time, don't just go like that. Have the model moving around and just wiggle your hairdryer around and have it on like the first setting so it's warm but not hot. But just, Alan's right, not lacquer paints. You can't use it on those and other things, just water-based. I also don't use it on Pledge gloss because I like to let that self-level properly.
Yeah, well, that dries in a matter of minutes anyways.
Not Pledge gloss, that's 24 hours to fully kill.
Yeah.
A couple of people leaving. Tim Bix has got to go and pick up shoe, must be obeyed from work, and Andy Butcher's got to run as well. So, right, if you haven't already left, bye.
Also, it says, do you keep the hairdryer far away or is it just very small?
It's far away.
This hairdryer, it's very small. That one is a long way away. Have you got that, Dougal? No, Ted. No.
No. Right.
The carpet monster loves hairdryers. I don't think you'd lose a hairdryer, could you?
Yeah, must have a big carpet.
No, but it loves hairdryers because hairdryers send all the things to the carpet.
Right, I got you.
Kenneth in the chat, hi Kenneth, did say I put up an unboxing video earlier on. I should give a shout out to Kenneth. He very kindly sent me a couple of things today. He sent me a pack of Tim Tams, which I didn't know what they were.
Pardon?
Tim Tams. They're basically it's the Australian version of penguin biscuits.
Oh, right.
They're kind of a bit nicer. And they smell divine. And the Australians, like the British and Europeans, the Australians use real chocolate, good chocolate, not like the Americans who don't know how chocolate works. So he sent me a pack of Tim Tams, which are brilliant. And he also sent me that. Oh, he sent me that. The Halo Warhog.
I never get presents. I never get presents like that.
I know.
It's a space car, Ted.
I'm just a poor old pensioner. I'm just a poor old pensioner on a pension.
You're just not as adorable and lovable. That's what it is, Ted. You are really. It's because you've only got epic moustache and epic beard.
Yeah.
You've had this bit out. Have you ever tried growing a beard?
I'm growing grey.
I know, but now you've got the grey hair. Have you never thought of actually getting the beard going? I think it'd look quite majestic and glorious.
And you could get work at Christmas.
Yeah. Well, it would go with my logo, wouldn't it? Wrong jacket. That was last night's jacket.
I think as Skipper Ted, you should actually get the beard going on.
And a big pipe.
Because I'm jealous, because I want the white beard. I want the white hair. I want my hair to go white or grey, because I really want grey hair or white hair. Because you can get away with so much with grey hair.
Yeah, could do. Yeah, I'll try it. I'll tell the wife. We'll have to have a charity beard growing.
It lost about, I don't know, 4 years.
Yeah, but not now. It's coming up to summer.
We could have an eModels group beard growing team.
Yeah, we spoke about this. I'm sure we spoke about this before.
Donald McKenzie, just handbrake turning to get you out of beard hell over there. Donald McKenzie says, I've seen a few posts with future Pledge haters recently. I think it's great and use it often. What do you guys think?
It took me ages to copy that from chat. It kept everything. I've just deleted it now.
Sorry, dear. This is the Pledge floor care finish 2 times more shine in the US. Pledge multi-surface wax in the UK. It's also known as Future and Clear, and it's got a million other names. I'll let you guys do all the answering first.
Yeah, yeah, it's good for what you use it for.
Brilliant,
it's
good answer. You've never been a politician.
Yeah, it's good for between coats, sealing in your decals and things like that. I wouldn't go and use it on an expensive commission model or anything like that, especially as a top coat. I'd just use it as a between coat and then use a proprietary model made gloss finish for the top coat. Yeah, not that a top coat many models in gloss varnish.
What about you, Chris? Oh, go on,
pretty much. As you said, I'm sure you could use expensive varnishes for, in between decals and everything, but why bother?
Yeah.
It does the job fine. It does it. Yeah.
I've always said I use the Pledge as a utility coat. Like Chris says, I don't want to spend 11 quid on a bottle of Alclad Aqua Gloss and then use most of that just to put decals on the model and seal them in, when I can get a bottle of Pledge that big that'll last me 10 years, and I can use that and then save the good expensive gloss, like Ted says, for when I want to make a model shiny and glossy. As I don't do shiny models, I have no need for any gloss varnishes apart from the Pledge. It's a utility kit. It's great for sealing decals, getting decals ready, putting them on, and it's great for doing gloss finish if you want to do your washes and your pin washes. You can finish a model off with it if you want to. It won't give you a glossy, massive shine like, say, a 2-pack would. If you're making, say, shiny model cars, it's not what you want to finish the car with because it's not quite that shiny. But as a utility coat, or if you want a satiny, not particularly massively shiny gloss coat, it's pretty good. It's also nice if you brush it onto gold things, like on Warhammer figures. If you brush on over the gold, it makes the gold nice and reflective.
Yeah, so that's all. Yeah, it's a floor cleaner. It's not a modelling product, but yeah, if we can find uses, as we find lots of uses for other things around the house, not just floor cleaners.
I don't understand why people would hate on it though, because it's like saying, no, you shouldn't spend £7 on a bottle of this and then use it for stuff. You should use your expensive varnish that you want to get the gloss finish at the end of the build for.
Yeah. Tony Black says it's good between decals, and Bill Barkley III says, can you use it with a brush? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I sometimes use it when I'm lazy. If I just got a little piece to...
Ted always uses it.
I forever use it. I've gone through bottles of it. If I'm just lazy, I'll just brush it on, just to put some decals on.
If you look at my Stormwolf that I did, the Warhammer Stormwolf thing, on the figures and on the vehicle, all the gold stuff, all the shiny gold accents and bits on the side, when I'd finished those and I'd finished the rest of the kit, it'd all been matte varnished. I went over those with the Pledge, but I brushed it on because I didn't want to mask it off. You actually can get, if it's a small detail, you can get a much more reflective surface if you brush it on with a very fine brush, just not too fine, but like a nice soft brush. Just brush it on a bit generously so it can kind of pool a little bit. It'll self-level out and you'll get a nice glossy surface. You can use it to fill in like scopes on weapons and things like that as well. So you can brush it on. It works fine brushed for small details. You can brush it on big stuff, but it doesn't dry quite as nice and smooth as if you airbrush it on.
I just going back in the chat there, as we're moving on from the subject now, just give a shout out to Tom Harris 321. It says Debbie is his aunt and Pete May is his uncle. And he saw us at a 40th party. Deny it.
I haven't got that video of Pete dancing.
Anymore. So Tom Harris knows where the yacht club is as well.
Yes, I bet Tom's been on the 3.5 foot luxury yacht. Because they couldn't both fit on there, but you know. Yeah. Hey Tom.
Right. Oh.
Best behaviour, Ted.
Yeah. Right. Where I've lost it now.
Let's talk about drill bits and breaking and wearing them out and.
Steve Whittingham, I did see this one. Hi, what paint set for German submarines did you show us, Ted, as I'm building Revell submarine, which you can see inside?
Oh, right. Yeah, I'll show you that one again. It's the life colour. I can't read that. I can't read the script.
German Navy.
The Kriegsmarine German Navy, World War II, set 2. There's a surface set and there's a submarine set. It looks pretty good. I'm going to use it on the submarine in this next video I'm building.
You might need more than one of each of those colours for that submarine, Ted.
I think
you might need a second set, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually debating about that, because by the time you thin these down, if I'm going to put a black primer on first, and then I'm going to go over in this, but obviously I'm going to leave all the seam lines and such as pre-shading, so it wouldn't need too much of a coat of these to do it. Yeah.
However, have you thought about actually priming it with a U-boat primer colour? Weren't a lot of them primed in red, or like a reddy, like you get the hull red, but primer colour hull red? It's like a rusty red brown.
Yeah, well,
European people do that. That's an option, because then you wouldn't have, if you do any chipping, you wouldn't have to paint a separate chipping coat.
Could be, yeah. It's a bit to think about, yeah. But but then again, what I want to do is sort of hide the interior as such, if you know what I mean, because you can see through it. So yeah, it's a thought. It's something I haven't thought about, actually. Yeah, good one thinking about. But yeah, these life colour from eModels, German U-boat colours, tells you the colours and what they're used for on the back.
If you do one the size of Ted's, though, you might need more than one set. Yeah.
And it's actually got the original deck colour, because U-boat decks were actually wooden deck, and they were painted off with a black sort of type bitumen paint. So I could do some chipping with that.
When I did my 7C, which is 1/72 scale, I did a lot of research, and I sent Ted the same research documents into U-boats to try and make it look nice and accurate. And I found out that U-boats, more often than not, the primer, the anti-rust coat underneath the primer, was that kind of whole red colour. So when they came back from 6-month tours, all the paint on the conning tower was chipped away on the front, and you'd see this red primer underneath. And I thought about it, and I thought it would be accurate, but it had looked so wrong. This kind of like light grey conning tower with red chips, it just wouldn't look right. So in the end, I prompted for the less common, but still apparently they used to use it, sort of light grey primer colour they used to use.
Yeah. Well, yeah, speaking of the conning tower, I'll show you where I'm up to. We didn't do that bit at the start, did we?
No.
What have you been doing this week, Fox?
I have been mostly, not much this week, but I have been working on my Panhard AML 90.
It's still got wing mirrors.
This video went up a couple of days ago. I've got the lower hull built. I've got, because I'm warhammering it up. So I've got 2 Warhammer dudes ready to go inside it, to go in the turret. I've got a guy that will man a gun, and I've got the pointy angry commander dude. They both look horrendously angry. They're all like, ah, because they're Warhammer. And I've got a big stash of bits and parts from Lehman Russ tanks and Bane blades and all kinds of Warhammer bits to stick on top. Handles, and I've got weapons, and I've got, bizarrely, the actual halves of each hatch from a Lehman Russ just about fit over the turrets on this, so over the hatches on that. I've got loads of bits. I think the first episode's gone up. That's the kind of boring gluing stuff together episode. The second episode I'm going to start on tomorrow, and that's going to be the actual doing the customizing Warhammer bits, and then we'll crack on with the painting.
Chris, what have you been up to?
I've been continuing work on my 144 Falcon. I've finished the decals on the top, and then I just need to do the ones on the bottom. Yeah. So yeah, getting there.
Right. Any progress yet? I know you've been busy, but any progress yet on the eModels?
No. I'm gonna finish this off, then start on that. But yeah,
you did reveal what it was last week, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I got the star lift that I do. It's sitting over. I can see it. It's over there, taunting me,
looking at you, going, "Build me, build me,
build me now." Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been quite busy myself this week because I've seen it. Somebody mentioned about drilling 1.5mm holes, and I have actually.
I would guess you the 1.5mm drill bit.
Shot. Yeah, I've actually finished drilling all the holes in the submarine. Thanks to the dentist, because I happened to have a trip to. They were driving me mad because I was drilling them and then having to file them out. And I went to the dentist this week, and I was talking to him because he's interested in modelling, and he always asks what I'm doing and things like that. So I oh, by the way, what do you do with the drill bits after you've finished them drilling my teeth out? So he said, oh, well, we just throw them away. Oh, well, can I have them? So he provided, I can't find it now, he provided me with some very nice tiny drill bits. And reamers, drill burrs. Find no, I can't find it.
So tiny, you've lost them.
So tiny, I've lost them.
Somebody does say in the chat,
oh, there.
Do you mean 0.5 millimeter, not 1.5 millimeter? Because 1.5 mil is huge.
Ah, right, be 0.5, yeah.
Then again, your U-boat is huge. So
yeah. But these tiny things, I don't know if you can get them in focus, are fantastic. And you just ask him, once he's finished inflicting pain on you, next time you're at a dentist, you say, can I have them? And because they're going to go in the bin, they're only one shot. So just give me the drill burrs. And they're brilliant. They helped me get the freeing ports finished in the U-boat. And
did you do all the little tiny ports around the back where the screws go? Where the screw is and the rudder and stuff? Because I didn't do those on my 172nd. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, because that is in the clear perspex part of the submarine.
Nah.
And I think if I start drilling that, I'm going to just...
Nah, you don't want to drill that.
No. I could have set up myself to all sorts of problems. But in the meantime, what I've been doing, I've been getting on with the next part of the eModels build a video of the conning tower. So that's that bit there. All done. Little good on the back. And I've even got the lighting inside. So already.
I'm dead jealous though, because you're like the deck gun on the back there, which I think is an MG42, I think, isn't it?
I can't remember what they are.
Yours actually looks like a gun, whereas on my Revell one, it was just an amorphous blob with two bits that were amorphous handles of some sort, and it kind of almost fit together.
Yeah, well, this deck gun, in the kit, it actually comes with a photo etch catch basket that goes to the side of the gun. Now, as somebody said on Instagram, I've been following somebody on Instagram, he said he can't find any research or pictures of such catch basket on the gun. So I took it off. So it looks. I think
a man on the internet said they didn't have them, so I've believed him and done it.
Yeah, but it's true. I haven't seen any pictures of a basket on the side of the gun, so I took it off. So
now, the question you have to ask, Ted, is that because it wasn't mentioned as being accurate, or is it because it was a real pig to put the little box together out of PE and you gave up?
It's already done the box. That's the whole
I'd already done it. Yeah, it did take me 2 days to do it.
That's dedication. You spend 2 days building something and then think, actually, no, it's not right. I'm not going to use it.
Yeah, and it doesn't look. Yeah, if you really look at it, it sort of holes all over the place. So yeah, it fell off in active service.
Yeah. Very
Kenneth did ask earlier, does Ted only buy brands of paint that he can pronounce?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Life Colour, please.
He phones up eModels and asks for it, so he has to ask for things he can say.
Yeah, just the colour.
Hello, Pete, mate. Can I have some of that the Life Colour?
Chris Smith says, my wife's a dental nurse and she brings home all sorts of useful tools, clean, of course.
Yeah, I know.
Into dental brushes or your airbrush cleaning friend.
Yeah, the dentist's store is a wealth of stuff. It's got a wealth of stuff in there for the modelers.
The only thing I'd be cautious of is actually use dentist drills, because blood and disease.
That's your own blood.
Yeah, but would they clean them first?
Yeah, well, you just
put them in a little sharps bag and say, just boil them when you get them home and you get fine.
Yeah, well, he said, oh, you'll probably want one of these as well. That it could be a polishing brush as well. So
Kenneth says there'll be lots of people bin diving at dentist offices now. You've just started a thing. Will suddenly be a sudden spurt of dentist appointments booked in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, I've just said, well, you give Ted some. Can I have some?
Yeah. Excuse me. Robert Blaylock says, it was me who said that. I spent a whole week researching that basket. Couldn't find a single mention or photo of one.
That's it. Yes, Robert. Yeah, I follow Robert on Instagram. He's building a cracking model. He's building the same model as me. He's doing a cracking job of it as well.
Tony says, hey, Chris, I see you've got an eModels cartoon now. I have.
Yeah.
Just
unfortunately, Google is still broken, so we still can't put our banners on the screen. Anybody using Google Hangouts will know it's just completely balked. You can't get into the toolbox. The toolbox just doesn't work. Apparently, it's not even a Google app. It's a third-party app
Yeah, doesn't work. Yeah. I did try it again because I don't want to press any buttons.
No, don't press
I
any buttons.
pressed it earlier and it said, no, you're not having it. But there's no news as to we're working on it or anything. It's just no, it don't work.
It's like any problem in any Google product, you go and look on the help and it's always like 6 years old. So,
right. Question just come through before we go across to the giveaways, things like that. Is it too early? We'll do a what's in store. Michael Jacobin says, Ted, I have to be, is shouting, it's all in capitals. Ted, I have to make the decision to fit the electronic. No.
That would be an ecumenical matter.
That would be an ecumenical matter. Ted, I have to make the decision to fit the electronic motor or not in the Typhoon. That's a Typhoon Type 1B that I built for eModels. It's over there somewhere. You can get a motor that goes inside and spins the prop. The problem is I don't know where the battery or the switch goes, and the instructions on it show the cable and where it goes to the base of the fuselage. Where do I hide the battery and switch? It would be a shame having tracked down an FX motor and not to use it. There are no other instructions on the motor pack either. I think it goes underneath the model. You put the model on a stand and it goes, you feed the wires down through the wings and down out that way or down out the fuselage. And then it goes into a battery pack and switch underneath. And usually it'll stand and put them on a stand. I think that's how they go. I did consider fitting one in mine, but no, I never got around to it. I just got past that stage before I decided.
I guess it's probably like the old Tamiya tank models where you either get nothing at all on the inside apart from some little scallops down the side, which tell you that's where the batteries go. Because a lot of the old Tamiya tank kits, you could actually had little things as you could put batteries in and motorize them, but they didn't have anything else. They didn't tell you to do that or where the hole was. Some of the later ones had a little. They'd have like the floor of the tank would have a little recessed pit, and that's basically saying drill this bit out, and that's where you can put a switch in. So it might be worth having a look on the actual inside parts of the bottom of the fuselage, see if there's a little recessed area that might be typical for that's where you can put the switch. Or they might just leave it up to you and say put the switch where you want. You could put it in the fuselage, or you could build the switch into the base or into a base and wire it up like Ted says. So they might just leave it completely open. So there's where you put the motor.
Yeah.
Look with the rest of it.
Yeah, Michael Jacobin says he thought of that one. The problem is there's no stand included in it.
No, there isn't, and it's a big model as well. Once again, I think it's been around for a while now. It's been around for a couple of years now, and I think a search, Google search, YouTube search, somebody will probably come up with the idea of where to do it. Or you could decide that you want to put it elsewhere. You feed all the cables, just lengthen the cables, feed them all the way down, come out the tail, so they're not as obvious. And then put a switch and something at the back there. But it's going to be a bit difficult.
Other than that, just make your own base. Bit of brass rod and some wood.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't have to be anything exciting. Just an upside down picture frame.
Vincent at Mr. Loft Model Making says it might about your basket thing. Might be something they built for it, but in the end seemed unpractical and never got put on. It does seem like something you'd have to take off when diving, or it'd get ripped off or bent. Or
yeah, it wouldn't last very long. Yeah. I would probably think it's probably made out of net rather than metal or anything like that. So
that's a question I have actually. That's a question I have. That machine gun on the back on the Winter Garden on the back of the conning tower. Guns don't really like being submerged in water, typically. How did it not just break every 5 minutes when they tried to fire it because it'd been under the water for like 2 weeks, and when they pulled it up, it's got gunk and water air, all the gun oil's been worn off, and how did it still work?
Yeah, guns will work underwater, and they will also work when being submerged. It's just a matter of keeping them greased. Waterproof grease, there is waterproof grease, it doesn't all wash off. And without being too technical about it, I'm sure people know the technical bits and pieces, but yeah, guns will still fire when they come up.
But I mean, being submerged for like weeks at a time, would it?
Well, they're not.
Would there not be maintenance issues with it? And like, right, we need to shoot that plane. It's not with.
Yeah, I think
I think it's only the ammo that causes problems, isn't it? The actual guns themselves.
Yeah.
Once they're underwater, they're not going to rust or anything.
Or we're just assuming it's German engineering, therefore it will work perfectly every time.
Yeah, this is also true.
Vincent says breech closed and put a plug in the end of the barrel. Yeah, water's not going to get in the barrel. When it comes back up, it'll be ready to go, because most of the time these boats will have spent time on the surface. They're not like the nuclear boats of today. They've got to come up to breathe their air, recharge the batteries, and things like that. So most of the time they wouldn't be submerged for weeks on end. They'd just be submerged for a few hours.
Cool. I've learned something then. There you go.
Tony Black says they wouldn't submerge for weeks only when they were hunting. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, lots of grease and guns are removed, captain greased, and
there'll be some armourers out there, some guys that worked on guns more than I have that'll know more about it. Yeah, but waterproof grease, keep them good, keep clean. As long as there's no grit in the moving parts or anything like that. But seawater's not usually carrying much grit. It's only when you're in near the beach and things like that you're going to pick up muck and things.
Which is not where you want to be if you're in a big honking U-boat, really.
Yeah. You don't want to be on the beach. Right. Anything else? Right. That one. Any more questions? And if not, we'll go across to have a look at what.
Screw Glue Addict has a good one, actually. It says, what are the benefits of spraying different colour undercoats? Assuming them are like primers and things, obviously you can get different colours, but
a different colour primer will give you a different hue to your paint.
Yeah, paints aren't a solid colour; they're sort of transparent.
Yeah,
so you can actually see quite a lot through it, even with quite a heavy coat.
Yeah, things like a yellow is a good indication. You can spray black, grey, white, and spray yellow on top, and you get 3 different colours of yellow. Because as Chris says, it's see-through.
When I was doing the bike, I did some test pieces of different coloured primers to try and get the right red, and it made so much difference. Even mixing different coloured grey primers gave almost completely different shades of red when you're doing the top coat. So it just makes such a difference.
Yeah, Paul Stewart echoes the same kind of thing. Basically, spray bright red paint over black and white primers to get a really clear demonstration of the effect. If you paint red or spray red or paint it over a black primer, it'll come out like kind of that colour. If you paint it over a white primer, it might come out, I haven't got anything bright red, but it might come out a bright red colour. So if you're painting, say, a figure, or if you're painting something that's going to be predominantly yellow, you wouldn't paint it in a black primer because yellow is the worst colour in the world after white. So you'd use a lighter colour primer or a cream colour primer or a grey primer, something like that. You often find when people paint things gold, they paint a brown colour underneath first, just because gold looks brighter and deeper if it's got a brown either primer base or colour underneath. Because like Ted says, paints are translucent. That's why you build them up in layers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just that's how your pre-shading comes in. Yeah. Just building it up in light layers until your pre-shading just shows through.
And traditionally, if you're painting something white, you wouldn't traditionally use a black primer unless you're going for a specific effect, or you're doing, say, a Star Wars kit where they used to paint them in black first and then spray the white colours, the specific colours over the top. So I'd experiment. Try get a piece of plastic and like Chris said, try different colour primers in strips.
Yeah, what I've started doing now is you know when you do your airbrushing and you always end up with some paint in the pot that you don't know what to do with. I've started spraying some spoons.
Spoons.
Spray them in your primer. I've only done it with black at the moment, but next time I spray some white, I'll spray some white primer and then some brown primer, red primer, whatever, and then you can test your paints on them. So,
yeah, he's saying if you could only afford one primer, what would be best? And the general consensus in chat seems to be grey.
Yeah,
I'd go for black because I'm an idiot. The thing is, if you spray over a black primer, I'd go for black because I'm lazy and therefore I can use the black primer as a pre-shade coat.
Yeah, but then you might have to spray yellow over it.
Well, yeah, that's where I then spray a different colour over the top. Because the thing is, if you use a black primer, yes, your yellows will come out darker. So what you have to do then is think logically and say, well, if I'm going to paint something, let's say I'm going to paint something blue, but I want half of it to be, or a chunk of it to be yellow. I know that the blue paint would work over the black. If I built up enough thin coats, it can eventually cover it. But for the yellow, I know it's going to be affected by the blue or the black. So what I could do then is build up a layer of white or cream paints on the top and then do the yellow. Whereas if I do, say, everything in a grey primer, I'm not going to have a problem with the yellow or the blue, but I'm going to have to then spray a separate pre-shade coat. And that's just delicate fiddly paint where I can just do everything in black and build up the colour. So it depends how you want to do it. I personally go for black, but yeah, grey is probably a good all-rounder colour because it's kind of neutral.
Yep.
Plus, I am an idiot, so. And I hate doing pre-shading because it's boring.
Right. Just one last question before we go. I've lost it again. Just
Have you deleted it?
No, I haven't deleted it this time. One last question before we go across to what's in store from Jamie Bond. Hi, Ted, Fox, and Chris. He's inquiring to see if there are any Royal Navy's 1970s paint sets. And what the that's the first question. Is there any 1970s Royal Navy paint sets? I've had a look on eModels, and they don't have any Royal Navy ones. They've got World War II US Navy. I don't know about any specific sets for 1970s Royal Navy. I do know that there are some specialist paint manufacturers out there that will provide you for 1970s Battleship Grey and such like that. I'm probably thinking, best way I found for Royal Navy's 1970s was Barley Grey from the Humble range. That was quite good. Most of the ships had just a black boot topping and a red hull. Red oxide is okay for the hull. The boot topping, the black, just a normal matte black. But for the upper hulls itself, Barley Grey. Try the Humble range of Barley Grey, or a variation of that. Convert it to whatever paint manufacturer you like. And the second part of his question was the best way to make motorbike exhaust look weathered. Is there any paint sets for that? I think did we not have this question last week? I think we did. I
think we said pastels or inks, wasn't it? Basically,
yeah, pastels, inks. Have a look at Tony's videos. He's done them.
To me, I do their specific Weathering Master pastel sets, which have things like, I can't get them out now, but they're there. Things like metallic blues and things like burnt iron and things, which are actually really good for getting that hot burnt metal. It won't come out shiny, so you'd have to gloss varnish it afterwards. Or inks, use a purple, blue, and brown ink.
Yeah.
Airbrush them on, and you can get the same effect.
Yeah, airbrushing's the way to go for that.
A few people in the chat did say Hataka paints might do one. Trot and Chard says look for Cold War paint sets, because I don't think they're going to change between the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I've had a look for Hataka. I couldn't find any. That doesn't mean to say they don't do them. eModels just might not have it in stock.
Yeah, so drop eModels a mail and say, have you got?
Yeah. Or if you find it on the Hataka website or something like that. You find it
MRP apparently do one as well.
Oh, right.
Right, what's in store, Ted, before you go off and answer another question?
Yeah. Right, let's have a look at what's in store.
Let's go for what? Don't forget to lock it on you.
Kurt Flughorn says, can we buy the cool jackets? You can, but they're a special order. They're not on the website. If you want one, you've got to inquire eModels direct. They're not a stocked item.
Yeah, they're made to order, as it were.
Yeah, they're made to order. So drop them a line, drop them a line. He'll tell you the price and things like that, and how available and how quick they can get them.
Yeah, not cheap.
Yeah,
but they're Helly Hansen. They're really, really nice.
Yeah, and warm.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm feeling the warm already, and it's winter. I'm still warm.
Right, let's look at.
I know Pete won't have sorted out the eModels t-shirts by then. So
yeah, we're waiting for summer. Yeah, Pete, we need t-shirts. We're going to die.
Pete. We need at least 6 t-shirts each.
Come the summer, we're going to die, and we can't just sit here just wearing a jacket.
Well, you don't know, Ted. You don't know where you'll be in a different place. You might have an air-conditioned man cave indoors.
Live from your fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the beer fridge underneath the bench.
Yeah.
Leave the door open just so it blows a cold draft.
By beer, do you mean gin?
A gin fridge.
You thought gin in the fridge?
Yeah.
Gin fridge. Ted, what's in store?
Put your tonic in the fridge. Right, I've got to walk. What's in store?
Don't forget to look it on you. If people often joke that I'm kind of tell you what to do all the time, but what people don't realise is Ted does forget all this stuff.
And you've started talking now. You've distracted him.
I know.
Right, where does that one go?
Don't press that button.
Right, yeah, there's a. I've been looking up for Jamie Bond. The only one I could find was the Navy World War II sets, or the Italian Navy. The colours US Navy and UK navies didn't really change that much. It's grey, battleship grey. Yeah.
It depends how accurate you want it to be. I mean, if you want to be dead accurate, if you're just happy with it looking like a battleship.
Yeah, it depends what's theatre as well.
Yes.
I think they're a little bit more blue. Or certainly the Americans were a little bit more blue in the Pacific theatre. Right, let's go and have a look. What we're going to do this week is have a look at same model, same subject, different scales.
Yeah, Chris, I'm depending on you for chat because I've got the whole window open now to see these, so I can't see chat.
Yeah, okay. I can't see chat at all. So if you're throwing insults, throw them to.
Yeah.
Troughton says, just email eModels and say, can I have a jacket? Ted said, oh no, wait, that was stickers.
No, you can mail the guys at eModels and say, can I have a jacket? And they'll say, yes, there'll be this one.
But don't tell them Ted said that you could have one for free.
No, can't have one for free.
The winner of a jacket this week is...
Not going to happen. We don't want Pete to lose his yacht hair early.
Yeah. Right, yeah, we're going to have a look at same subject, different kit, different scale, in fact. This is the Academy 144 scale, and that's Chris's, obviously, scale of choice.
I think I've got one of them somewhere.
59 pence.
Yeah, £3.59. Brilliant, isn't it?
£4.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I don't know. No, there's no pictures of that, but there wouldn't be many pictures to have of it. I certainly wouldn't think there'd be much of an interior to do.
Yes. It might be the smallest model box you ever get through the post.
Yeah, come in an envelope. Now, yeah,
come on. There'll be a bit of card with a bit of sellotape and the plane just under the sellotape.
Yeah, you could build these. You could build it as far away, or you could build it as small.
Yeah.
Or you could put it alongside a bigger one in 1/32
perspective,
1/32 scale, and take some pictures of a false
perspective.
What foxes? Yeah.
Forced perspective. Yes.
I see the price is a little bit different on that one, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there's a little bit more in the kit here. The box might be a little bit bigger.
Yeah. This is one of, to me, is kind of flagship models that they've had. This might be obviously a more modern version, but over the years, if you go through the Tamiya catalogs over the last 30-35 years, there's always been like flagship kits, and they've always been like the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier, the Tomcats, and those kind of things. They've always been their like prestige kits. I think this is a more modern tooling and release, but yeah, Tamiya, you can't beat Tamiya for the big old planes.
And we make no apologies tonight, because most of the subjects that we'll see tonight will be tanks and aircraft, because that's usually the only subjects that come in different scales.
Yep.
I did have a look at cars and motorbikes and all the other things, but they're usually just in one scale. And a part of it tonight is same subject, different scale. So,
Sprue Addict does say how many parts in the 144 scale model. Probably about the same as there were in that last picture that Ted showed of the other one with the missiles.
Yeah,
probably about the same in the entire kit for the 144 as there are in two of the missiles on the big kit.
Yeah. They tend to be quite simple kits.
Yeah, but it's an exercise in painting really than construction, isn't it?
But actually, just having one of the little 144 scale ones and then this in a photograph to give that forced perspective look, like a plane and his wingman, with a backdrop of pictures of clouds, would actually be quite a spectacular photograph.
Are those rockets on the bottom of that backwards?
No, I think
that's the what you mean, like the silver bit on the front.
Yeah,
the bit that Ted's pointing out at the moment.
Yeah, the wings do look backwards, don't they?
Yeah, shut up.
The fins or whatever.
Don't question. Yeah, because the bit on the front.
I mean, do they have like rear firing chaff things or something? Or
they might have. But the bit on the front is like the optical bit where it sees all the cameras and stuff, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So let's see if we can find another picture. There's Cag and his mate D-Cag.
I have to tell you, when I was a kid and you looked at the figures in the Tamiya catalogues, they looked exquisitely painted. Now looking at this, it's like, not that well painted, the figures.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be one of them kits where you get to this paint the figure stage and think, yeah, right.
Yeah, they must have had the new boy in painting the cockpit for that.
Yeah, but they're quite a nice aircraft, 1/32 scale.
That's actually really big when you think about it.
Oh, no, there's them rockets, Chris. They're laser guided bombs, aren't they?
Oh, right. So they got steery things on the front.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, those kits are huge.
Yeah, so that's that. So
they're also exceptionally complex. It's not a small undertaking, that kit.
Yeah. So yeah,
Michael Jackman says the F-14 is the best kit he's ever built. Bought his first one from California in 1981.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm guessing this might potentially be either a new release or maybe not a new tooling, but it'll be a new release of the classic kit with different decals and stuff. There may be some accessories and different, but yeah, it's always been one of their prestige kits. Is the Tomcats.
Yeah. Once again, we're most of the subjects tonight will be Tamiya as well, which eModels are one of the largest stockists in the UK.
They are the largest UK stockist, apparently.
Right, I've lost it. Yeah, there it is. This one is the Tamiya. I tried to find a smaller one. I could only find 1/48 scale as the smallest they do.
What? No 1/35th?
Oh, sorry. Yes, there is a 1/35th. Yeah, I've got that one here.
Oh, okay.
That one.
Am I
no, that's 1/16th. I've done that. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, the one I found is the 1/48 scale Abrams, not Abrahams. Abrams.
Yeah, you learned something.
Yeah, I've been learning that all week. Yeah. Once again, this is the M1A2. There's the M1A1 as well. If you want to build a complete set of Abrams tanks, this is the place to go and the place to get them. So this is the detail on the 1/48 scale. 205. Where's the previous one? There's the box art.
I used to drool over the painted kits in the Tamiya catalogue when I was a kid and be like, man, I'll never be able to paint like that.
Yeah.
And I still can't.
Yeah, there's a special paint out now from MiG, Modern US Vehicles. It's what I painted Gosh in. It is a fairly good colour match for, it is a colour match for modern US armour. So that's that one there. So if this one is a little bit small for you, you can buy the 1/16 scale one from Trumpeter. This is the M1A1. Huge, big box, huge.
I like big box, and I cannot lie.
It'll come in a suitcase size box, like that one. Lots of decals. That's it. Yeah, Thunder. That's a green, obviously. Well, that's that one. So that's the one in 1/16 scale.
Sergeant Bones says the new MiG colour is spot on for US armour. Take it from a vet.
Yeah.
However, it should be noted, it's not the only 1/16 scale Abrams they've got in stock.
Yeah, they've got that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
We showed this last week. But just
yeah, we had to show it again. Yeah, we had to show it again. I think this is the most expensive model kit they've got in the store. I think they might have other stuff, drones and things like that, but this is the most expensive kit.
You mean they didn't sell it after we pushed it last week?
They may have had more than one in stock, you know.
Ah, this is true. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They've had loads. Depending if Pete went on a splurge with the company credit card, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he hasn't bought himself a 4-foot yacht yet, so he might not.
No. He might have gone to the, he might be
asking if they came on time. Is this the giveaway this week? No.
Yes. No. Yeah. So if you were thinking about it last week and you forgot to put it in your basket, and you really want it, get it slapped in your basket tonight.
1/16 scale, full remote control.
Yeah.
I assume it's got the boomy, bangy sound effect of the big.
I think it's got.
I don't know. Yes, it has.
One scale, main battle tank, decast and metal socket tray. Well, we looked at all the pictures last week, but yeah.
Yes.
Gun barrel control systems.
Yes.
Yeah, everything there. It's all there. pre-assembled tracks. So that's a saving in itself, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
You spend 1,200 quid on a tank, and you get pre-assembled tracks.
Hmm.
Somebody's done them for you, so you don't have to go through the tedium of putting the tracks together.
Hmm.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, there we go.
I'd still Warhammer it up.
Yeah. Oh, I've run out of pictures.
Yeah, sound effects.
Yep, speakers.
Speaker, everything's there.
Hundreds of motors.
Yeah, I think you still need a radio control set for this. But if you're into radio controlled tanks and radio controlled kits, you've probably already got stuff at home.
I actually saw an amazing video once of a guy that had built. It wasn't an Abrams, but it was some it might have been 1/16 or even 1/8 scale. It was some kind of tank, bridge laying tank, and he basically drove it along. There's like a big landscape set up. He drove it along in this outside area. The bridge thing came down and forged a gap. It then detached the bridge. The tank drove off, and there was a bridge. And then he got a different tank and drove the different tank across the bridge. And these were like 1/16 scale tanks.
Yeah.
I think they were German, not Abrams. So
yeah, I think I've seen that video. Yeah,
I think they were scratch built. They might have been scratch built.
I think it's a toy fair. It had a full sort of camp of tanks and everything.
Yeah, the only thing that ruined it was the engine sound was terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that one, from the 1/16 scale, we go on to a really big kit. You've got to buy this one. And we have, we did show this once in store, what's in store, and somebody went out and bought it.
Yes.
The Dora railway gun.
Yep. And just so people know, somebody did ask the other day about if this was in stock. So there's somebody out there who's interested. So if you've been interested in this, if they're watching now and they've just heard me say that, they might go and buy it. So if you've got an interest in this one, you might want to go and grab it. Yeah. This is a discontinued kit. It no longer exists in the universe anywhere. They don't make it anymore. And there's a very small number of them still floating around, and eModels are able to get hold of one. So if you've been thinking about this and you're umming and ahhing, once this is gone, there's no guarantee eModels will get another one. There's no guarantee there's any left in the world. So there might be.
I do know this. I do know there's somebody in chat tonight that is waiting an imminent delivery of this.
Yeah, Robert Laylock says my Dora will arrive this week.
Yay.
There you go.
But yeah, it is a discontinued kit, so there's no guarantee models ever get another one, and there's no guarantee there are actually any left to get anywhere. So
Robert Geary says just showed that to the wife. Her response was, "I hope it's big enough for you to live in." And yes, it is actually.
Yeah.
Because she'll be keeping the car, so we can't sleep in that.
There's Little John and Big Box.
Yep, and this is apparently this is the world's biggest model kit, static model kit.
Yep.
5,000 parts.
I can't read it on. It would be beyond that.
It's 5,000 parts or more. Do be aware that some of the later releases of this kit didn't come with the big shiny box covered in pictures that John was pictured standing next to.
Yeah, it's over 3,000 parts.
Yeah, so as a bit of a disclaimer, when you get it, it might just be brown cardboard boxes, but that's the way they were kind of produced at the end of the production run. So not all of them.
Chard says he had to live in his D'Agostini Falcon for 6 episodes. I mean weeks.
I'm not even listening to that.
However, if you do like the Dora railway gun and you can't stretch to £500 or stretch to extending the house to fit it in, you can always buy a smaller one. Yeah, it's the Our Workshops, the 144 scale Dora.
It's the same people, isn't it?
Same
company, Sorart. Yeah.
So they know what they're doing. Did they just turn up the enlarge button on this?
I think they just increased the zoom.
Yeah, it just
zoomed in. Photoshop.
This door is small. This door is far away.
Yeah. Now you couldn't do a forced perspective with this one because there was only ever one.
Yeah.
Because if you did a forced perspective shot, all the rivet counts were like, "I think you're fine. There was only ever one of these, mate."
Yeah. So. Now, what you could do, you could build this one first, and then you can think, "Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's get the big one in."
Yeah, get your significant other to come to terms with liking it, and then when they like it, just swap it out one day. Bing! Oh, look, it got bigger. Look.
Yeah,
how did that happen? No idea.
I spilt some water on it, and it grew.
Yeah, I did it after midnight. It was a bad move.
Yeah. So there you are. If you fancy a Dora, you can get it in 144 scale.
Yeah.
It's available in store from eModels. Right, what else have we got? Battleships. This is the Forces of Valor 1700 German Bismarck. It's the only battleship I could find that was 2 of in 2 different scales. So I think this is the 1/700 scale. This is the 1/3500 scale, twice the size. So yeah, who's this one? This is Tamiya, so it can't be all bad.
I've seen that in various shops. It's quite a big box. I've not made a battleship since I was a wee lad. I might get back into the battleships one day.
Yeah, if you're into battleships, there is lots of stuff available aftermarket for them. Edge parts. You could build. I think with the Bismarck, you could build nearly all of the upper superstructure in photo etch. That's if you've got the patience.
Yeah, or the ability.
Yeah. So
besides, who doesn't want a model box that's got shiny metallic text on it? I mean, come on.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that one. So yeah, two ships, one 350.
Right, no, that's not right.
Yeah. So
one ship, two scales.
Finally, I think we'll get round to. We couldn't pass without this one. This is the Panzer IV. This is that little one I've got on the desk behind me, on the shelf behind me. This is one of the retro kits from Airfix. Nice little kit. Yeah, just take a day or two to build. Lots of fiddly bits though. I'm not really into building 1/72, so I made a bit of a hash of the tracks. But you guys out there that build 1/72 know how to sort the tracks and things and that out. But
this is your classic old tooling Airfix re-release, isn't it?
Yeah, I really bought it just as a comparison to the to this one, the 1/16 scale one that I built. You've probably seen the videos of it. But lovely. This was a fantastic
discipline.
This is a fantastic kit. Unfortunately, there's bags. Not unfortunately, but there is bags of interior detail, and once you close it all up, you don't see it. But yeah, it's there to build.
If you are local to the eModels actual premises, or you're ever going in, do have a look at this, because the one that Ted built is actually in the glass cabinets at the front where the customer area is, and you can see it's massive and it's gorgeous. It's right next to my Eagle, which also looks awesome.
Yeah, while I mention it, yeah, individually tracks, and that's them all. Yeah.
Oh, it's the only thing. See, this is the only thing that puts me off small scale tanks is that.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of tracks.
I get bored when I'm I've got to do two legs or two arms, but if I had to do that, I'd just be like,
Yep. So that's it. That's it for this week. That's same scale, same subject, different scale. So yeah. So there we go. Back to me.
And you're out of focus as always.
Really out of focus. That's more out of focus than normal.
Yeah, well, I've been saving it up for. I wasn't out of focus last week, so I've saved it for this week.
Have you locked it on not yourself as well?
Yeah, it's not locked on me.
There we go.
Yeah.
Kurt Flughorn says it looks like a bag of shreddies about those tracks.
Yeah, you need you need a bit more than shreddies for
all the wheels on tanks. Not the wheels that bother me; it's the 3 million track parts.
While we were away, James Chapman asked, maybe a far-off question, but are we still able to get any Airfix electric motors? If so, where from? I have no idea about that. But
I'm thinking, are you meaning the Humbrol, not Humbrol, the Hornby Triang? They became Airfix, didn't they?
Well, Airfix is owned by Hornby.
Yeah, so. Or whichever way around it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what eModels do them, but you can certainly get in touch with Hornby, Airfix Hornby, whoever it is, and ask them. I think you can get. I think you can still get them, or if you can't, you can get somebody. Somebody in China is certainly making them.
I suspect it's probably a standard electric motors type anyway.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be like Hornby or Airfix to actually have a motor made. They'd be like an off-the-shelf motor from 1976. You'd probably still get them. There was a comment from Lee Barlow says, I live in Stoke, so eModel is on my doorstep.
Get yourself down there.
Spending all your money there.
Yeah, get yourself down there. Call
I think he was there the other day. He said he looked at the stuff in the cabinet the other day. It was very nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Did you get a cup of coffee? The thing is, if you go to the eModel store, you need to walk in and say, hi, Fox and Ted says I'm allowed a cup of coffee.
I claim my. I watch. Yeah, you can walk in and say, I watched the live stream. I claim my free coffee.
It doesn't come in an eModels cup though.
No, but it'll probably come in a. What's the cup I got last time? No, it's got a rude word in it. I can't say that one. It'll probably come in a cup, and you have to spend money, obviously. You can't just walk in and get a coffee and walk out.
Yeah. I claim my free coffee. Yeah, I'll take it while you're getting my kit off.
Free coffee with purchase.
Yes. I watched the live stream and I claimed my free Dora for just 500 and something pounds that I'll just leave on the desk. Yeah, if you are local to them or it's not too far, I do pop in. It's not an actual shop where you walk in. It's a working warehouse, but they do have the counter at the front and they're really nice guys. And they'll look after you. So do pop in and say hello.
And the guys themselves, the guys behind the counter are actually modelers themselves.
Yes.
So they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Kurt Flugelhorn says if he spent 1,500 quid on a tank, he'd want a biscuit as well.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
You might even get a bourbon for that. You know what I mean? A bourbon biscuit. I think if it's less than that, it might just be a digestive. But I think if you're spending that much, if you're buying that Abrams, then yeah, you might get a bourbon.
Might be a chocolate digestive.
Yeah, chocolate hobnob. No, they don't stock anything that would end up with a hobnob. They don't stock anything at that kind of price. Trot Child says, I claim my sticker, coffee and jacket. Ted and Fox and Chris said so.
Yeah. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, your mileage may vary. Your home is at risk if you do not spend money on stuff. Lee Barlow says it's his second home.
Good. Yeah,
it's a bit like me with my local Warhammer store, which is like
next time if we get a chance, next time we're popping down. Next time we're down at eModels, we'll try and let you know in advance. So if anybody is local to eModels, you can pop down and see us. We'll be around.
I think. Well, we nobody popped by last time, but we kind of left it very last minute. But the time before that, we went down. We met Mike Mountain, and we got some free gifts off Mike, which is very nice. I've still got my army painted brushes, Mike. Thank you. Actually, I have to admit, I've used them a little bit, but I started using them on that last build. And these army painted brushes that Mike gave me, they're really, really good.
Yeah, they're nice. Yeah,
they're really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because if we go along, Lee, and then you turn up as well, you'll probably get a cup of coffee out of it because we'll be. In fact, what will actually happen is we'll walk in the morning and they'll put us to work putting stuff on the shelves.
Yeah,
that's what will actually happen. So you might not get to talk to us much.
Yeah. We get that look off James when we stop working, don't we?
Yeah, the eyebrow goes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest and say, because when we went down last time, we went down and I got there about, I think, about 10 o'clock in the morning, and Ted got there about 11:30 something. You got there a bit later. Yeah. So I walked in, and there's the custom area, and it was just piled high with cardboard boxes, tons of them. I'm like, blimey, have you had a delivery? He went, yeah, it's not even a big one. So I sat there and I was swigging my coffee, and I said, there was James and there was Little John, because there's two Johns, there's John and Little John. I think Little John was in the back doing some packing. And I'm stood there, I was like, I can't just stand here and do nothing. I feel guilty. Give me a list. I'll start putting stuff on shelves for you. So I started putting stuff on the shelves and taking it out of the boxes. I did some hard graft. I did some actual manly graft. It was quite good.
I actually broke out into a sweat.
Yeah, so if you place an order with them and it takes 6 weeks for your delivery, it probably means I put something in the wrong place and they really can't find it. I did try to follow the list of where things go on the shelves, but I can't guarantee I got it all right.
It still confuses me when you say you'll go down to eModels, because I think about going a long way up to eModels.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I assume it's down. I don't know. I've got no set. I get lost getting out of bed. So I'll just turn my sat nav on and go where it tells me.
Right. Right. I think it's time for some giveaways. Yeah. Yes. Just advance warning here for Chris. Think of a question.
Think of a question.
Yeah.
I thought you said you had email questions again.
Yeah, we've got more than one giveaway.
Okay. Unless anybody out there wants to email me a question,
quick.
Got to send the answer.
Yeah, why you've got 2 minutes?
Yeah, ted@emodels.co.uk. Yeah, send me a question for tonight's giveaway. We've got 2 giveaways tonight. We've got a sticker and a mug.
And don't forget, if we read out your question and answer, then you get a sticker as well.
Yes, sometime.
I think we decided at some point.
Eventually.
Yeah, you'll get a sticker eventually. Welcome, man. Right. What we will do, I think, first is we'll give away last week's.
Yes. Trot and Charles says cheese and onion.
Yeah, also 42.
Yeah.
Dunkel Gelb is the answer.
Also Wankel rotary engine, but there you go.
Dunkel Gelb is the answer. What's the question?
Is a valid question, what am I thinking of?
That may be open to abuse. or rude comments, and we can't do those.
Right. Let's do that.
What we doing last week's giveaway first?
Yeah, I'll find it. I've got it. I've got it to share. So looking on
It's
me.
good that we're doing that first because Michael Jackman says his pizza's just turned up, so he can't do the comment thing yet.
Yeah. Right. I haven't shared it with you yet, have I? So right.
No. Are you locked on you, Ted?
Locked on me, and I find the button. Share. There you are. That's what we're giving away this week.
That's what was from last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's from last week's giveaway. We're giving away this week. Here's the Yamaha RZ250, and I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, the Yamaha RZ250. The question, what's the question? It was a statement you had to make last week underneath the last week's live stream video on YouTube, and you had to give the sound of the motorbike, which actually the answer was that's the answer.
Yeah.
Right? So anybody that was close to that will get an extra point. However, before this stream started tonight, we did a random name picker from the name picker thing randomly.
And it picked
you never plan that sentence, do you?
No, yeah, and it picked a name at random after we clicked on the pick random name. It picked a name randomly, and the winner come back to me. That's what you're going to win. Stop sharing. Yep, right. Right. That's it. Yeah.
Are you locked on you, Ted?
No, it's not locked on me anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So the winner of the name picked randomly from the name picker random picker. It's like
there's so many other ways you could say that would involve like 98% less words, but it wouldn't be as funny.
No. Yeah. Well, I tried to be best. Yeah. The name.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's all gone to pot.
Should be gone.
Right. The winner from last week. Yeah, this is where we always pause for effect.
Oh, I'm crying laughing there.
The name.
The winner.
Yeah, I think it was. I forgot what comment it was. The winner is Redlen08. Yeah, last week's winner of the Yamaha RZ250 is Redlen.
I think his comment, if I remember, was meow.
It was something like that.
Yeah, it was close. It was pretty close. Yeah.
Robert Blaylock says he just shot tea through his nose. Could be worse. Could be coffee. John Bennett says he's got a question. Fox knows the answer. Okay.
Oh,
okay. We'll do the email one first, I think.
Yeah.
So was it Redlen08? Drop Ted an email to Ted.
Redlen08. Drop me an email at ted@emodels.co.uk. I'm forgetting where I live now.
I don't think we should do our own live stream today before the eModels one anymore.
My video seems to have frozen. Oh, it's come back now. It's all right.
There you go.
Here again.
Yeah, drop me an email of your address and telephone number, just in case it's coming by courier, and we'll get the guys at eModels. I'll send your details to them, and they will get that kit sent out to you. Hopefully,
yes. My eyes are actually watering now with laughing. And my nose has gone runny.
Yeah, Osric 9000 says dive. I think.
Right, yeah. So if Fox has packed that kit in the right place and the guys are able to find it, let's get it off to you.
If not, we'll send something similar.
Terms and conditions.
Okay, well, before the question disappears off the screen, should we take John Bennett's question first?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, hang on. How's he going to give me the question without putting it in the chat? John,
yeah, he can
send a mail to ted@emodels.co.uk now.
Hopefully I get it.
And we'll do the other question first and yours second. Because you can't put it in the chat because everybody will read the question half an hour.
So what are we giving away first? Are we giving a sticker away or a mug away?
In fact, we can do it because John can just put the comment in the chat and then they can answer it.
Yeah,
first one to answer it.
As soon as we read it out, as soon as it comes up, we'll see it, read it out, and we'll say go. And then if Fox knows the answer, we don't have to wait for the answer.
Well, I hope I know the answer. I don't know what the question is. Okay, then let's do John's first so it doesn't disappear. John, put your question in the chat. I will read it out. Remember,
Quick,
folks.
do it now, because otherwise we're sitting there waiting for it.
Yes, do it ASAP.
Yeah.
I hope it's not really long.
Between 20 seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a long question. It might take him 3 minutes to type
Yeah,
it.
well,
That's
we'll
true,
let
it might go
Fox,
for a week.
yeah. So there's no over talking. We'll let Fox read it out.
Wait, hang on. Who was the question? Oh, John Bennett. There we go. What biscuit did foxes get set? What?
What biscuit did you get?
Oh, what biscuits did you get sent?
Oh, yes. What biscuits did I get sent? I said earlier on I got sent some from Kenneth in Australia. Go. I know who's going to win this. Straight away, who's going to... Well, I don't.
I think it's a safe bet that you do know
knows
the
the
answer as
answer
well,
to
don't you?
Yeah.
No, not Bourbon, not Hobnobs. No. Robert Geary says Tim Tams. There you go. Bang, straight in.
Yeah, Robert Geary. Well done, Robert Geary.
Well done. You said Tim Tams. Tim Tams is the correct answer. Remember, it's the first one we see in the chat.
Tams now.
Yeah, remember, it's the first one we see in the chat, and we see it in a different order to you guys. So, Robert, send Ted an email, ted@emodels.co.uk with your name and address, and he'll send you whatever you just won for that, which was what, Ted?
I
don't know. Was that a sticker or a mug?
Did we inside?
That was the mug. That was the mug.
Okay, that was the mug. And John, you need to send an email as well so he can send you a sticker.
Yeah.
ted@emodels.co.uk.
Right. Right. We'll get a sticker giveaway now. And yeah, I've got a question from Dave Barker, who can't be with us tonight because his mum said he's got to go to bed.
And yeah, and there's also other telling off the reasons why he's on the naughty step, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
there's always a reason why he's on the naughty step.
And I'm sure he sent this because it's a pronunciation question.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be so cruel.
It wouldn't be so cruel.
I'm still actually getting answers to the last question in the chat at the moment. So.
No, this is going to be a question for fastest finger. Did that sound right?
Wait till Ted says go.
Right. Dave says this will get them Googling for the answer. What is the Latin name for a puffin? Go.
No.
What is the Latin name for a puffin?
Tiniest birdie is
also but that's scary if I do. But I'm
chicken. No, not chicken.
Porg. Nate Bliss says porg.
What is puffiness? KFC. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Carl says Fraticula. Is that right?
Fraticula says mate.
No, that's not what I was thinking of then.
Yeah. So Carl wins a sticker. Yeah. Thanks to.
Now remember, if it's a question that's emailed to us, we don't do any research at all. We just take the answer that the person gives us.
Yeah. Because
so we'll assume that Dave is correct with Fraticula.
Several people have answered that now, so I'm assuming it's probably right.
Yeah.
I take it. We do take your answers on trust because we're too busy to look.
We can't be bothered doing any research on them at all. We just assume you know what you're talking about. Good question.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, we haven't done a Google question for ages, have we? Yeah.
No. So make sure to send Ted an email. I think we've already got Dave's address, haven't we? So we know that anyway.
Yeah.
IDP just missed it, says Lynn Dipple. Oh, you've just missed the giveaways. Hey, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Carl says, I have several stickers. Give it to the next correct answer, please.
Right, that will come down to Robert Blaylock.
Robert Blaylock.
Robert, in America.
That's the next one.
Yeah, Robert, send me your email. I know he's got an eModels mug because I've seen it.
Send me your eModels.
Yeah, send me your address and I'll get a sticker out to you all the way to America.
Thanks to Carl for giving that one away.
Yeah, well, very kind of you, Carl.
I think Carl knew that the next person was in America.
Yeah.
Right.
Robert Blaylock says, yes, I need it for my new bench.
Yeah, it's going to be a big bench. Put that door on it. Yeah.
I like big bench and I cannot lie. So moving on.
Yeah, right, I'll just check to see if we had. Chris Balchin says, "Did I buy the seat from the Grumbleweeds?" Yeah. Robert, I've got. Yeah.
Wow, that's going back a long way. That's one step removed from the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Club.
The Grumbleweeds, aye. They were on Wheel Tappers and Shunters, weren't they?
No, Wheel Tappers and Shunters. Didn't he do well? Ding, 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 ding.
Order around the room. Yeah.
My dad used to work on that. He was one of the cameramen. That's the only reason I know the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Club. Anybody who doesn't live in the north of England has no idea what we're talking about.
I know the Grumbleweeds, but I don't know about the other one.
The Wheel Tappers and Shunters Club.
Yeah.
You're probably too young for that. That was the time. That was the days when they still had drinking up time and last orders, please.
Working men's.
Yeah.
Trump
Trump
Child
says
asks, no fox.
Go on.
Is she out motorbiking?
Yeah, Trump Child says, guys, I spoke over you then.
Well,
I have to say this out,
each other.
I have to say this out loud because you'll be able to hear it. But no Fox's mum tonight. Is she out motorbiking? On behalf of the committee.
On behalf of the committee, I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight.
John Bennett says, Ted, put your seat outside and let it go rusty a bit. That would stop it from moving up and down.
Yeah, I just knock some wedges in it later on.
Now, there's a young guy coming up on stage now. He's very good. He's a good lad. He's a good lad. He's a good lad.
Give him a good.
Don't throw too many glasses at him.
Give him a good northern welcome.
Yeah. I remember there was a Scottish series called, what was it called? It was a similar kind of thing, but it was like, it was something like Hotel Paradiso. And the guy was like, hello and welcome to Hotel Paradiso. Tonight we've got the Brundoon Boys live on stage. It was like really rough. It was like on Channel 4, I think.
It sounds like that. What was that guy called? New Year's Eve? You had Andy Williams Hogmanay.
Yeah, Hogmanay.
Hogmanay.
And Donald, where's your trousers? Trot Chart says it was on ITV down south. Tappers and Shunters. Zadster says she's out at the Murder, She Wrote annual dinner.
Michael Jackson.
I'll tell you what, I went downstairs earlier on and Mum was watching Murder, She Wrote. By God, the shoulder pads.
Yes.
Holy cow. There was a character on it, right? And not only did she have the worst 1980s hair, like that, she was wearing some kind of like sailor top. It had shoulder pads that I swear were like, they made Space Marines look inadequate. She was like, and it wouldn't mind, but her shoulder pads came out here, and then her arm actually was like, so she was like that. She had little arms came out because it was all puffy shoulder pads. I'm like, good God, I'm glad I'm not living in the 1980s anymore.
Kenny Everett's shoulder pads.
Yeah, it was actually like Kenny Everett's like American Colonel General character, where the little arms sticking out, the big shoulder pad. Yeah.
I haven't forgot this week's giveaway. I'm just preparing it. As we speak. We'll have to think of a good.
I do apologise. I've got a bit of a tickly cough going on tonight.
Right.
Zadster says 23 years and she didn't realise she was in California, not Maine.
Oh,
I saw one.
She was a bit older, wasn't she?
I'm out of focus.
Oh, we didn't like to mention.
Because we don't need to.
I've just got this.
You've come to expect it, Ted. You know that.
Anyway, should we do next week's giveaway?
Yeah, should we do a giveaway? Proper giveaway.
As we're in the mood for giving things away.
Yeah, I don't know what this is actually now. So
what are we giving away?
I forgot. Hang on.
I forgot. Brilliant.
Well, we did forget it last week. No, we tried to give it. We tried to give.
Hang on, wait a minute. We nearly forgot. We just clarified this statement.
Well, we did do the giveaway last week. Just we were giving the wrong person the wrong giveaway.
I think it's more I was picking on the fact that he said we forgot.
Yeah, it's the royal way.
Right. I've got to lock it. I've got to do all this all the time. Lock it on me.
The ensigns of command.
Not that button.
Not that button. Share it. I will giving this away this week. I know we've given one away before, and we're giving one away again because it went down so well. So this is another chance to win the Mini Art T54-1. Is that Ministry of Defence? Ministry of Defence 1946? I doubt it.
Being Russian, I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah.
I think model, perhaps.
Yeah, it's a 1947 model. Yeah.
There's a Russian tank made by the Ministry of Defence.
Ministry of Defence approved Russian tank.
Yes. They always approve Russian tanks because they were broken and never worked. Yeah, we approve that.
Yeah. I believe that we know that I think the winner of this was on last week. And he said it was a box full of bits, a huge full of bits. So if you like lots of, it's an unassembled plastic bottle, 93 4-to-H parts. Yes.
Oh.
Phil Kit says that's the one I won last time. It's awesome kit.
Yep. Yeah. So
Mother of God says Sergeant Bones. That's more like it, says Michael Jackerman. Oh, I need this in my life. It'll go well with the Dora, says Robert Blaylock. It would actually be to scale with the 1/35 scale Dora design.
Yeah.
Which makes you realise how big the Dora is.
Yeah. There's 863 plastic parts in here. Wow.
How many?
863 plastic parts.
That's only slightly less than the Fine Molds Millennium Falcon.
800 of them, the treads.
Yeah.
14 clear plastic parts. Where do you get clear plastic parts on a tank?
Periscope.
Yeah.
Headlights and that and stuff.
Yeah. So you're going to need all your building skills to put this together, especially 93 4-to-H parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you fit about half a dozen. Yeah, you'll fit about half a dozen, then throw the rest away.
Nate Bliss says mod is modification. Making models. Carl says 1,200 of them are wheels.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. So we've got to think. I've got to think of a phrase for next week. Fox's mum's a biker chick.
Fox's mum's a biker chick. Okay, that'll do. It's putting visions in my head that don't need to be there, but yes, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's what you need to do. If you want to win this model, if you want to win that model, it's locked on me. If you want to win that model, yeah, that T54 1 mod 1947. Yeah, all you need to do is after this video is finished and it's uploaded to the YouTubes, all you need to do is put a comment underneath the video. Fox's mum is a biker chick, or something like that.
I was going to say put something like in Mother Russia, Dank builds you, but I can go with
you've got to do it in that language. Yeah,
you got to write with the Russian accent.
Yeah.
Fox's mum is biker chick. Yeah, comes with windows.
Chard says nuclear weasels, but I think he means nuclear vessels.
Yes, they are your nuclear vessels.
Yeah. So you've got to write just a phrase in Russian.
Not actually in Russian.
I don't know. We might have someone Russian watching that's probably going to do that, and we won't read it.
Yeah, don't have to be. Yeah, any phrase you like, but write it in a Russian accent.
Write it in, I love that. Write it in an accent.
Oh dear.
How exactly would you spell hello?
Hello.
How do you spell?
Hello, I am Russian.
Honest.
I am not spy.
Oh, what the hell? Just write a comment.
just use words. Use your words somehow.
But if you can do it in Russian, it's great because we'll get Ted to read it out. It's fine.
Yeah, Ted will go on a crunch course for Cyrillic.
Right. Yeah.
Phil Lewis says, don't you find nuclear weasels near Chernobyl? Because Troy Charles says nuclear weasels. Nuclear weasels.
I'm going to have to practice my Sean Connery speaking Russian.
Oh, you mean I'm apparently a Russian captain. As you can tell by the way I speak. It's a fantastic.
There you go.
Now I'm Spanish.
Say hello in Russian.
Yeah, no cheating with Google Translate. Can't do that.
Hello. Right, is that what's Nazdravie? Nazdravie. Is that cheers or hello? Nazdravie. What does that mean? I can't remember what that means. It's the only Russian word I know, I think. Spasibo, which is please.
Vodka.
Yeah, so you'll have to remind me next week to bring me Russian hat for when I announce the winner.
Oh, yeah. God, I know the national anthem. That's a bit weird. Quick, get Trump on the phone. Oh, no.
Right. It's good. We're over our 2 hours, comrade. So it's time to go and drink some vodka, as Robert Blacklock's just reminded me.
Drink the vodka, Nazdravie. One king only, Vasily. See, now I'm talking in my Spanish accent, which is also awesome and outstanding. Sean Connery, the only man that can do a number of different nationalities, but just have his normal speaking voice and get away with it.
Yeah.
Sure, we need you to be like from Brazil, smashing. I'll talk just like this, then, shall I? Yes, perfect. Here's some money. I love that. He's the only person that can get away with that. How does he get away with it? Right, now we're going to make you a South African diamond mine bad. Smashing! I run a diamond mine in South Africa. I can do that. It's the best mine in the whole of South Africa. As you can tell by the way I speak. Yeah, perfect, Sean. Shutting up now.
All right, it's time to go.
Brown Ted.
Because I've realised that I can see the sign behind me now. I start up here, and by the time I get down there, I can see the sign. So I know it's time to go.
You're sagging. You need an injection of gin to.
Yeah,
apparently, Dos Vidania is a hello or goodbye. Dos Vidania.
I think we need a little sign behind Ted that's got the time on it, and then we can just tell what time it is.
Oh, wait, I do know one other Russian phrase. Grozny Oktyobr, which is Red October. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, right. My kangaroo sign says it's time to go because the seat's about bottomed out. So, right, that's it for another week of Merriment and Mayhem. Don't forget, send us your eModels addresses. Send them your emails if you want anything.
Don't forget the sentence that I can't remember.
Stuff that we meant to do earlier. But yeah.
Yes, if you want something tonight, send Ted an email, ted@emodels.co.uk. For the love of dog, put in the email what you won because we won't remember. And if you were the lucky winner of the kit from last week, make sure to put down which kit you won. Otherwise, the guys at eModels won't know, and they'll just send you like 400 stickers, which probably wouldn't be quite cool.
And as you know, we can't remember what happened in this program. Never mind what you won last.
I don't know what we did 10 minutes ago.
Don't know. We might know.
All I know is apparently I'm Sean Connery. But there you
go. Right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks you for your questions. It's been great fun. We've been quite model orientated tonight, hasn't it?
I know that's not right.
Yeah, we hardly touched on the 80s at all.
I know.
Don't start now.
Yeah. Remember them Ford Capris with vinyl roof? No, don't go there.
Russia, Ford Capri drives you.
Remember, just if you want to win that tank thingy from the Russian, whatever it was, just you need to comment underneath the video when it's all finished. And until next week, we'll see you all again. But thank you very much for joining us. Come back and we'll do it all again next week, hopefully. And we'll press some buttons and forget things. But time to go now. See you all again. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.